And happy Thursday, PSWs and friends across Ontario and Canada. Welcome to PSW Podcast, where we come to you guys live normally every Friday at 11 a.m. But this week, due to some scheduling errors, we are live Thursday at 12 p.m., where we come to you guys and we talk about the realities of the personal support worker field. There's no black and white here. It's a very gray area of the things that people don't like to talk about. My name is Miranda Domanovic. I'm the CEO of the Ontario PSW Association, host of PSW Podcast, and I'm joined yet again by my co-host, Ian De Silva, who's the Chief Operating Officer of both associations as well. And today we're going to be talking about the dark truths of the PSW field, the things that the people don't ever want to talk about or even frankly address. And why did we come up with this topic for this week, Ian?
Well, we heard some news, and I forget where exactly it happened. I think I'm hearing, if I recall, around Ingersoll area, there was a DSW, which is a part of the PSW community, was, as I understand, arrested for murder due to negligence.
Yeah.
So this is not the first time we've heard of community care workers being held to some sort of criminal account as a result of their duties. So it's a big topic, and yeah, where do you want to start? It's we can go a lot of directions.
I mean, we can talk about how I woke up to
Well,
that.
that's yeah, we wake up to this, and I think the concern is, and we're not naming names, of course, of anything, but we really think this is a wake up call to the providers of the employers of those individuals and those receiving care. You need to make sure that you're actually having a qualified PSW. Not to say this person wasn't, but let it stand as it does. But not only having a qualified person, but someone who's adherable to a scope of a code of ethics, a scope of practice, and is actually a professional. We understand that cost is an issue, but these individuals charge the same as a normal PSW or an unregulated or unregistered PSW. So we're seeing an opportunity for people to build some awareness on what can be done and what is already out there for to help remedy this. So the big issue for us is we want to see we need more home care PSWs to be members of their association, make sure they have this insurance. And
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean and we've talked about this, and it's not a popular conversation. I think a lot of PSWs kind of put a deaf ear to needing insurance, because I think it's just a selling point, and we're trying to sell, sell, sell. But in actuality, the whole reason why we brought the insurance on with the association was to protect the personal support worker, to protect your hard work, to protect your hard-earned things like where you live, the things you own. Because if you get charged or you even get under suspicion, or you get named in a class action suit, if you don't have insurance, you have to pay for that lawyer out of pocket.
and don't be naive to think that your employer is going to back you. Please don't.
No. And that's another thing that we hear constantly is, oh, my employer is going to back me. I'm under my employer's insurance. Yes, you are under your
Sure.
employer's insurance. Absolutely. But that's only going to protect you to a point. If this employer gets sued because of you and something that happened, whereas you're guilty or not, you're going to be put on the chopping block, and you're going to have to find a way to support yourself and defend yourself. And that's why a lot of PSWs, that the members we do have, become members of the association for many reasons, but one of the biggest one is the insurance element, so that they can actively do their jobs, perform their duties, and not be worried. I mean, I can't tell you guys how many times we hear from PSWs that they were accused, or they were in an elderly person's home, that person has dementia, they like something goes missing, and it can be as simple as this individual, the client, just put it somewhere or gave it to someone and doesn't remember, but that PSW automatically gets accused. Well, what do you do? How do you stand up for yourself? How are you going to defend yourself in those situations? If you
Exactly.
don't have insurance, you're paying for that lawyer. And I mean, I've said time and time again, Ian and I have been expert witnesses on certain court cases where the PSW has been charged. One that comes to light is this PSW was solely innocent, did not do anything wrong. We knew immediately after reviewing all the court documentations. However, this court case went to trial.
It did, yeah.
Trial is extremely expensive. You're paying anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a day for trial. And that's just in trial. Think about all the other work the lawyer's got to do.
Every
So,
email, everything is billed. So it's an incredibly expensive process. Now, insurance does offer protect some elements of protection, but at the end of the day, it's really there to protect everyone involved, and the issues that can come from it are ridiculous. So
oh, it's
you're right,
unbelievable.
Maria. That was like we saw that individual's finances just be essentially just decimated.
Didn't they have to take out a second mortgage on their house?
They would have to, yes. In that case, they did,
And
yes.
they did, yeah. And weren't they out like 60,000 or $70,000 or something just
They,
for
they
going to
were
court?
they were free at the end. They got out. They didn't have to go to jail. So that was the plus side on that, but it's an expensive price to pay. At the end of the day, had she been a part of the association, we could have intervened early and started setting up and intervened with scope of practice and some other elements. But
Like
again,
insurance.
we're dealing with a lot of PSWs and we're getting two sides of this too. So we're dealing with a lot of PSWs who come to us after the fact asking for assistance, saying I'm now in a bad situation. I never wanted to join, but now I need your help. I want to join today. It's too late at that point. And there's nothing we can do. We can't advocate for anyone who's not a non-member. We can offer advice and direction, of course. That's what we're here for. But at the end of the day, it does fall upon the individual PSW as well, especially when you're in the community care sector. It's considered a lot of civil rights are involved, and you're very much in a more ambiguous situation. Now, the other side I want to talk about is the care side. We other get calls from people about continuity of care. So this is the other side of things that will impact. Makes it important for PSWs to be a part of their association so that you can identify these things. Went off on a slight topic there, though. But I think it's important.
Yeah, but I just need to address this really
Oh,
quick.
I'm so sorry.
Someone
Yes.
said, does insurance cover a whole life insurance? And I'm no, it
No.
doesn't.
Okay, so
This is professional liability insurance. So it's $2 million professional liability. So an example on that is you are in someone's home, you are giving them a shower. That person falls when they get out of the shower. The family decides that they want to charge you with abuse or neglect of their loved one. You have to go to court. Our insurance will cover a lawyer for you to go to court. That's what that is.
exactly.
And there's another question too.
Yep.
I'm getting noticed. You guys are really talking to us a whole lot here.
We're
Do
here
you
for.
think it's an inevitable part of PSW career to go to court? Absolutely not. It's not.
No, no.
No, it's not. No. Um, it's not like we don't have an abundance of PSWs that go to court all the time, but it's a reality. It's like the nurses and the doctors, guys. It's a reality that we are caring for people in their homes and in their most vulnerable positions. And you can't think that you're just going to walk in there, something go wrong. And a lot of times, yeah, you do get to walk out, but there's sometimes you don't get just to walk out and you can be up on charges for the simplest thing. I mean, come on. You can't expect, like, you get a car, you get car insurance. You don't expect to go out and get into a car accident, but you
Exactly.
get it
Well,
for the just in case situations. This is what this insurance is the just in case situations. And it's extremely important that all PSWs carry it. I don't perform a lot of care anymore, but I still have the insurance because you never know. Because our insurance also comes with a Good Samaritan insurance, which means that it doesn't just cover you in your workplace, but let's say you're driving down the road and you see an elderly person fall or someone get hurt, and you go over and you perform your duty as a PSW, which is CPR, first aid, assisting the individual because you're the first responder there. Our Good Samaritan insurance will cover you in case that family comes back and says you didn't do the right thing, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, there's a lot to this. But the reality of it all at the end of the day is if you don't have this, it's like you're standing on the end of a cliff, edge of a cliff. That's literally what it is, isn't it?
well, it's very much so. No nurse, no doctor, no physiotherapist would start their day without having professional liability insurance.
Yeah.
And yet many PSWs feel they're completely immune from the same risks that these individuals are, and they're not, which is so surprising. Which is also
And
why,
can I
oh,
point out too, Ian? Sorry, can I point
no,
out as well? Is that employer element
well, yeah.
that my employer will protect me?
Well, and it's also the employers and employers in community care, and admittedly, are hard pressed to find resources to deliver care. That's the reality. It's always been that way. Um, but at the end of the day, there's no excuse why the individuals providing care, and these are to the call to those who receive care, is the company that you're hiring using professional personal support workers? Or are they hiring and just go look at their job ads? What are the requirements? Do they have any sort of insurance requirement liability? No, most don't. But you should be asking to make sure you have a PSW that is a member of an association, a member of a professional association, and it carries that. And the reason why you want this is because they're adherable to a code of conduct and a standard of practice and a code of ethics. This is there to protect both the personal support worker and the individual in their care. So for our members, the other reason you really want to consider joining is it gives you a lot of authority to say no when you're dealing
Yeah.
with certain individuals. Miranda, can you talk about when it's, let's talk about that. Saying no.
So okay, that's great. When you can say no, that's exactly right. We hear about from PSWs all the time that, like if I said no, I get in trouble by the charge nurse. If I said no, I'm going to lose my job. No, if you're a member of your association, you do have far more power to say no because you are protected. You are accountable to your association. And like we have a roles and responsibilities and standards of practice that you have to adhere to as a member of the Ontario PSW Association. And if this falls outside of your scope or your roles and responsibilities, and it is not a delegated task that is being done correctly, let me point that out. You have the right to say no. And if they come back at you, you have the right to call upon the association for us to stand next to you and fight with you. That is what we do. So, like, everyone always asks, like, what is the role of the Ontario PSW Association? What do you guys do? We protect you. That's what we do. We advocate, we talk about the gray area, we have insurance, we have whistleblower protections. We have a lot of discounts so that, we can help you guys live better and not just you, but your families as well. But to top it all off, as a member of the association, you're not alone. So you have a place to go to ask these questions and get the answers from the experts in your field. That is the biggest point of it. We are all experts on the personal support worker at OPSWA. That is what we do. So if you're not a member, number one, you're not a professional PSW and you cannot call yourself that because only members of OPSWA can call themselves a professional PSW
We have a lot of people
because of
saying
the insurance. What's that?
a lot of people saying they're certified, and there's a lot of confusion on what certified means. So they went to jump in there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point too. Certification.
You get this a lot. People graduate from college. The minute you graduate and you get your certificate, you're under the impression you are a certified PSW. No, you're just like a nurse with her first certificate or his first certificate. You're now are educated and qualified to be a PSW. But until you're certified by your professional association and the government regulatory body, you're just a PSW with a certificate. And to employers out there, please remember that's what you're hiring, a non certified individual. And individuals that you're receiving care are also getting that care from non certified individuals. So we understand there's a lot of confusion in there, but we're working to remedy that as well.
No, it is. I just remembered a story that we heard from a member of the public. This is going to take you back a bit, Ian, a while ago, where this individual member of the public called the association because they were having PSWs come into the home. And this individual followed OPSWA and they had asked for proof of PSW certification or certificates from the staff. Do you remember that were going
Oh my
into
gosh,
their
yes, I
home?
forgot about that one. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right.
And
Yes, yes.
they asked the employer, and the employer refused to show proof that these individuals were actual personal support workers.
He was ready to go to court. He looked up the debates and we had the lawyers in line and he asked one simple question that ended the entire case. He goes, "Does the Ontario government have the right to send non-certified PSWs into home care?" And I said, "They absolutely do have that right. Absolutely." And he was like, "Oh." I'm like, "Yeah, they are within their rights. They can send anybody they want, and they can just say, yeah, you're a home care worker, go for it." So that's the level of protection we have when it comes to home care, which is unacceptable to us.
It's largely unacceptable. I mean, I remember a campaign that we ran, and we've ran it again recently, I think within the last year, but years ago before COVID, that said, "Who's knocking at your front door? Do you know who's knocking at your front door?" And that was because of another situation of an individual who was dressing up in scrubs, and they had canvassed this entire neighborhood,
Yes, that's
and
right.
they remember, and they had figured out who was getting personal support workers and they put on their scrubs and they would show up like an hour before or an hour after or something like that, and they would just walk
Yeah,
into these people's houses and they robbed them blind.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. And that, again, it's a public safety element, but it's also about protecting the reputation. Let me just throw that out there. The reputation of the personal support worker. Because I don't know about all the PSWs that are watching this right now, but I know as a PSW of 20 years, I get really mad when I hear about these things where either PSWs are doing it themselves, like the PSWs that decide that they want to become powers of attorney for their clients. That is like the biggest no-no out there. You
No,
do not do that. Or the PSWs that are, arrested for assault or neglect, or it makes me mad because many of us as personal support workers, um, we really thrive on doing our best. We're in it for the right reasons.
well, absolutely. You want to be a professional caregiver, a professional healthcare worker who's going to offer support to the individuals that need the care the most. That's why we enter this profession. It's largely altruistic. But many people enter this profession that are not PSWs. They print up their certificates. It's easy to get a free certificate online for PSWs, so companies can be easily fooled, which is the other side. We're not trying to poo-poo employers, but the employers of PSWs in the community need to be aware of the risks that they're leaving themselves exposed to rather, and the very easy steps that can be taken to make sure that that exposure is limited. So we just want to make sure that this awareness goes out a bit better.
And it does frustrate me when you
Very
do
much
have,
so.
community or home care companies that don't see a point in the OPSWA membership or even the HESCA-POA registration, because then it makes you wonder about those employers. Like, do you really want like top tier care? Do you really care about the clients that you're servicing? Because the amazing part to me is in talking with a lot of, members of the public, as we do very often, they are not aware that a caregiver is not a PSW and that a PSW is not a caregiver. They are not aware that PSWs can perform delegated tasks that are medical. They are not aware of all of the great things the PSW can do. So they accept anybody.
And PSWs, nurses, and physicians all wear the same scrubs, so it's even more cloudy in some
Well, it
cases.
says right here, someone just said, my daughter, who's an area manager for a home care company, has flagged so many false certificates.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah, good.
Well done, whoever that
We've
individual
seen
is.
them. Let me tell you, yesterday, Nicole, who's our director of membership and public engagement, she flagged a fake certificate yesterday and got the call from the school and had a conversation with the school. And the school did not know who this person was, claiming to be a personal support worker.
Brilliant.
You
And
know, that's why it's so important to be a member of your association. You're a member, that means you are a PSW. Nobody can say any different because you actually are.
but to be a certified PSW, now you may write a CESPA test, you might run an NACC test, you may run a college test at the end. Those tests do not certify you.
No.
Joining your association and the provincial registry are what certifies you, or at least one or the other in this case. But we really want to encourage you to make sure that you, if as an individual getting care, especially employers out there who hire PSWs for community care, this is a very we just bring awareness to the risks that are currently very much out there. And kudos to the HR that's doing their due diligence and absolutely doing a great job. But we would also encourage that individual make sure try to hire onto your PSW association PSWs. We have a lot of great members that are professional, and
Yes.
and
And
they
you know
have
what? And the funny thing is, someone just said on one of the chats, and it's tax deductible. And our membership is also tax deductible. So just
oh
for everyone
yes,
who's watching as well.
yeah,
And those are asking where to join. If you guys go to our main profile here on Facebook or over on TikTok, you click the link in our bio, you'll see become a member. Click there. It's all self-explanatory. The membership does support you. It does lobby for you. We fight all the time. I had someone bring up our conversation or a video that went out yesterday, Ian. I just want to touch on this real quick about the home support workers. And a lot of these people are twisting our words about home support workers,
oh
stating that, we think they're just terrible. And that's wrong. I
no,
do not think home support workers are terrible at all. Our concern in that little snippet of the video that is on here on TikTok and on Facebook was this: home support workers are being put into positions where they are doing the job of the personal support worker. That
Exactly
is
right.
dangerous, extremely dangerous for the home support worker and the client. And they should not be put into those positions. That is where this video came from. That's what we were talking about. It was not against the home support workers. I hope they all upgrade to PSW, but they do have and play a role. Now, if you are being told to do your job as a home support worker and it's the job of a personal support worker, we beg you to say no.
Or and contact us at the very least. I mean, we need to know
Yeah.
about this because HSWs are essentially they perform a companion role to reduce isolation in housing. They're not. It's very much a casual role. PSWs were sort of like that. We're moving a bit more solidified now into role in our role in society. But again, HSWs, you're going to be hired by companies saying, "Yeah, it's close enough. We can expand your scope of practice." And by day three, you could be finding yourself doing a catheter bag and you need to do an incontinence pad change. And you're being told, I thought I just needed to make a cup of tea and read this individual book. And they said, no, we've changed the care plan now. You need to do this and this and this. And the person has no training, but they say, we've officially delegated you or by trained you. You're not ready to go. That's it.
I'd be petrified.
Oh, and they work, people are.
If I was the HSW, I would be absolutely petrified because the PSW we have training for those things. And if
Yeah.
I walked in, I mean, I remember the first time that I had to help with an pressure ulcer bandage change in long-term care. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And the nurse had to walk me through it. And thank God I had a nurse there to walk me through it. But I couldn't imagine going into someone's home and someone saying, well, now you have to empty this catheter bag. I'm going to require you to, give this person a shower.
Yeah.
Then you're going to dress them. And then, you're going to help them with the range of motion exercises. The OT is going to come in to delegate those to you. No, that is the role of a PSW. And the HSW should not be, having to be put in that position that they have to do it just because they make a couple bucks less than a PSW.
Yeah, and what is it you're expecting? If you're getting home care provided by the government, you want a PSW, not an HSW. No offense to HSWs, but you play a very different role in a supportive role. But when you're doing home care, government pays for PSWs to go into people's homes. So again, we this is not a comment on the HSW. You guys do amazing work, but
I
you
just
should.
want to make that clear
Yeah,
because
no, it's not
I
a.
was like almost defending myself last night.
Wait a
I'm like,
minute.
I have nothing against the HSWs. We do not at all. We all play an integral, important role in Ontario healthcare. But I don't want HSWs doing PSWs jobs, and I don't want them taking PSWs hours.
And I'm going to be honest here. I'm just going to jump in. And this is where you might get mad at me, people, and I apologize in advance. If you're willing to take the HSW program, I would consider not taking it and taking the PSW program. It is almost the exact, it's a little bit longer. It is a far more comprehensive program. We have a lot of schools offering HSW. We're very concerned about that. So, I think
Just
we
go straight to PSW, guys.
why are you bothering? Like, just do PSW or at least go get upgraded because you're going to be doing the PSW job anyway, and you can't get insurance from us if you're an HSW. You have to go pay $1,000 a year non-tax deductible, and you have to pay the first deductible on it of up to $1,000. So there's a lot of concerns. I would just want to make sure some people you're aware of that. So again, we're not, but
No,
stay
we're not against, definitely not
do
against
not do
HSW.
PSW jobs. No.
No, my God. My God. Um, we have a lot of conversation actually happening here about care RCAs in long-term care homes actually taking a lot of the work from the PSWs there. I think that's a whole other podcast that we can talk about the RCAs because that's something that we were
Well,
against from the
the
from the
RCAs when we agreed with the RCAs, the Ministry of Health said the RCAs were going to be there for a year. And now they've been entrenched as part of the healthcare team very quietly. We have no evidence of any policy direction on this point. There seems to just happen as spontaneously within the ministry itself. So we're looking into this in some detail. This is a concern. Again, an RSA or a home support worker. These are routes that are tenuous for employment, very tenuous. If you're willing to put the time in, we encourage you to do the PSW program.
bingo bango. That's what I would do. Do the PSW, guys. It's less than a year.
Yeah, if
Like
you want to,
why if you're going to do home support worker or RCA or whatever it's called, just do the PSW program. Then you know what? A lot more jobs are going to open up to you as well, and a lot more opportunities for growth and pay. You'll make more
yeah,
money.
You're going to be going to RCA. The training is, if they even offer it anymore, I don't even know where you get it, but the training is limited and they just train you on site and say, now you're a PSW because that, and it's like, well, that's not it at all. That's, if you really want to be helpful and be a supportive to the Ontario health system, then we would encourage you to start as a PSW, DSW, go from there. That's your
Amen.
time better spent and
I
better.
know. I know. What a
Do we have any questions? What a
whew,
we
we
went
have
all.
lots of
Let's get.
questions. We have a lot of
Oh, go ahead.
statements.
Yes.
We've
Oh,
had insane communication on our TikTok on this one. Facebook, I do not know. I cannot see it.
I can't.
But what a great conversation. It needed to be had. Remember, guys, key points from this podcast is this. If you are a personal support worker or a DSW working in Ontario, and if you are not a member of the association, you are not protected, which means you do not have insurance, which means that at any given day, somebody could say something and you could be charged, you could be accused, and you could be named in a class action suit, which means that you would be responsible for your own legal fees. And I don't know anybody that has an entire bank account that, for that. So you could lose everything, literally.
Absolutely. And to end on a positive, let's give some shout outs to the home care partners that we work with that use our members and that are absolutely the top dogs. Rose Hill Care at Home, shout out to you. Elderberry, always a pleasure. And of course, Nucleus Independent Living. Please visit all these individuals if you're looking for care. These are excellent companies. We're building we just started this, so we're hoping to get more on board. But Miranda, it's been a pleasure.
Also, too, though, SE Health. We got to
SE
give a
Health. Oh,
shout
I'm
out to
sorry. SE
SE
Health.
Health
Yes, sorry. We got to put them up. Sorry, apologies. SE Health, of
and
course.
VON
And
as well.
VON. But these
And
are all
VON.
excellent companies. These are the companies you want to go to as at least that we've recognized as the best providers.
Absolutely. What a great conversation, Ian. Kind of all over the place, but in the same area, I think a little
Big
bit.
topic. It's a big topic. There's lots of
It's a
interesting.
very big topic, and we're not going to end it here, guys. So obviously, we will be talking about this as we go on and on. There will always be issues in the PSW field, but know that you guys have the power to change a lot of these issues.
Take charge.
So, yeah, yep. So thanks so much again for joining us on PSW Podcast. We will return next Friday at
Friday.
11 a.m. But remember that what you guys do truly does make a difference in healthcare. You guys are the superstars of the front line. And I want to thank you very much for everything you guys do every single day. I will be hopping on TikTok later this afternoon for a Q&A. So stay tuned for that if you guys want to join us there. If you're not a member yet, make sure to head over to our main profile, click the link in the bio, either on Facebook or TikTok, and join today as a member to make sure you're protected. All right, Ian, thanks again for a great conversation. And with that, we're going to say, Ops out.